Rira Vinci Ninde Gambani Sangye Shingdu Mingte Luargi Jokun Namda Shingla Tuparsho Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kam Niryatayami
Sangye
Chedang Soki Chonam La Chanchu Bardu Dagni Kapsuchi Daki Chunyen Gibe Sanam Ki Drola Pinchir Sangye Druparsho
Sangye
Chedang Soki Chonam La Chanchu Bardu Dagni Kapsuchi Daki Chunyen Gipe Sunam Ki Drola Pinchir Sangye Druparsho
Sangye
Chedang Soki Chonam La Chanchu Bardu Dagni Kapsuchi Daki Chunyen Gipe Sunam Ki Drola Pinchir Sangye Druparsho. Show.
Can I use that to interrupt people in my normal life?
Take out the Can you take out the sashi?
Get the whole room going. What's going on in the building? Ezra's like,
somebody has to watch the sashi. Oh my God.
This is definitely the last day.
You are drunk on Dharma.
That's true.
Calte detamina, okay, if it were not the case that Kunchi only existed in the two
lower realms. Two of the lower.
Yeah, the two bottom
of the three.
Yeah. If that were not the case, I'm just reviewing the last sentence.
Right, then
if that were not the case, then it would imply Tawa. There would be the implication, which incorrect implication, that this person in the formless realm had not gone higher than or gone beyond thinking about physical form, conceptions of form. They would still have to be able to conceptualize physical form, but they can't. They're beyond that. They're more subtle than that. Okay. So that's a Tengyur. If it were possible for them to have Kunshi, then they would have to have this conceptions of form, because that's what the Kunshi does. Right. It has the 5 objects and the 5 sense powers appearing to it. Right. So if they're in a formless realm, they shouldn't be able to conceptualize that. And then they would also have to be tell. And I underlined 2 tells. Okay, so sometimes you're going to do that because he's distributing the tell. He's pre-distributing it for you.
Nice.
And then they would have to be people who lived at a physical level. Okay, Sukchengi Sapa means an inhabitant of a level. Okay, Sa means level, Sapa means someone who lives at a level. And this is the Deni grammar case. They would have to be that kind of person. Why did we use Ru instead of just Bar?
Because
meter.
Yeah, Ru is only used for meter. Okay, it's always used for meter. And the meter is up here. Where are we?
Saru?
Yeah. Sukchen, Saru, Tengyur, Te. Okay, so we needed it. Okay. Now we go to new stuff. Please read.
Gangi Chirna Kam Okma Ni Naang Kunshi Tengi Dun Nangi Bakchak Nim Pa Le Shepa Larangi Ze Samsuk Su Nangwale
pe
I like your ta. Thank you. Matokpe.
matokpe chirol natul trarab sakpe bempo shik
Not B. Not Biba.
oh bempo
Pa. Pembo.
Pempo shik me pe chiro
Maybe Chiro.
me pe chiro.
Okay, good. Hard, really hard. And without this guy, I think that this is probably around where we got lost. But he's good. He's really, really good. And I hope he keeps up this level of assistance. Because sometimes they get in a rush at the end and they stop. Okay, so anyway, Kangi Chena. So why is those two things the case? Why are those two ridiculous possibilities the case? Because Kangi Chena, Kang Omanyinan, even in the lower two realms, even in the desire realm and the form realm, Kunchi, well, I'm going to go to Suksa Namale, okay? Even in the two lower realms, when something appears to be physical, okay? Even in the desire realm and the form realm, when something appears to be physical, it's really just the shepa.
The consciousness of
Rangaze. It's
That generates stuff.
Like substantially.
it's made of
Oh,
the mind.
cool.
Just that. Rangaze.
Wow.
So to your consciousness of colors and of being aware of colors, to your consciousness, things are appearing, meaning blue and the eye power, two physical parts. They are appearing to you as physical, but actually, in actuality, they are just some of the same stuff as the mind which is perceiving them.
oh wow,
Okay, they are
Only
not.
is trippy.
Okay. Okay, and why does that happen? Because the Bakchak Mimbas.
the
Ripen
ripening.
seeds.
Yeah, and that comes from the ripening of the seed for things to appear as objects. Okay, that's because seeds have ripened for things to appear as objects. Where? Dang here means in. Okay, in the
kunshi.
kushi, in the kushi itself. So even in the lower two realms, the only way you see physical stuff is that you see the mind appearing as physical stuff. Okay, so that's the only way it could happen in the formless realm. But they cannot frame a thought of physicality. They don't have this. It's impossible in the formless realm. Okay, some to suksanoe. This matopa means but for. Okay, ko mayoma mato nga zirwayin. Ko mayoma mato nga zirwayin. But for the fact that he didn't show up today, I would have squeezed him. Ko tering maoma mato, and you use it with the negative. But for the fact that he didn't show up today, I would have squeezed him. Zir. Zirgir. Zir means to squeeze dough.
Literally, dough out of.
Okay. What it means here is everything before the matok and everything after the tok. So, but for things appearing to be physical,
Yeah.
when in actuality they are of the same substance as the mind which is perceiving them, that they're appearing to. But for that, except for that, except for that, there is no me. Bembo.
A particulate matter.
Yeah. Where? Chirona.
Outside.
Yeah, on the outside. So when you say chirona, I think you should say on the outside. He's trying to help you with the na.
Composed of
Okay.
subtle particles.
There ain't there ain't no particulate matter on the outside, but for the appearance of it to the mind, of which it is the same stuff. Okay, there's no, and
So they're saying there is.
Right, that's what I was just gonna say.
Sorry?
Is that the
It's subtle
implication where
because
the
they're
mind
saying
only...
there is, but it's
But it's made of the mind.
a nangwa, but it is, but for.
yeah.
He's not saying there isn't.
No, it just means it's all just in your mind. Beyond that, how's beyond that?
Right.
Yeah, beyond that, any outside form doesn't exist.
But he's still saying.
It doesn't exist.
Dual chara sak pe pembo it's still a yopa.
No,
but
well,
it's a
see,
nangwa.
if you're very sensitive
Yeah.
in translation, you would start putting optatives, which could have been collections of atoms.
Okay.
You see, there's no such thing as physical form, which could have been
Okay.
composed of atoms. You
Okay.
see, if you're a sensitive translator, you say something like that to alert the reader that,
But it's not a thing.
yeah, it's not possible.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
actually not possible.
Okay.
Is it taught elsewhere in the mind-only scriptures that there is, in fact, particulate matter that exists?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Other schools.
Because that would be an outer object.
Alright.
So they're denying Pembo outright. They're not just saying there is Pembo, but only in so much as it's a nangwa in the kunchi, right? Or
Yeah,
they're saying it's a
which is
yopa or
not
mepa?
real pembo.
Okay.
I mean, here they use the
Still
word
feel like you're
form,
dodging my
right?
question here.
Here they use the word physical form.
Okay.
So it's okay to say physical form
Mm-hmm.
as long as you understand that what it's made of is the same as the mind which is perceiving it.
Which is necessarily not
Okay.
Pembo?
It is.
Oh,
But
it is
it's
Pembo.
not, this implies outside pembo. Well, it states that, it doesn't imply. Okay,
Outside the kunshi.
now it's interesting that the next 3 sections are gonna be, this is kind of his own take on things.
Oh no.
He's finished weaving in some kappa for this section. He did it heavily,
right.
and now he wants to make some comments about it.
That's probably
Maybe
a
he
good
wants
idea.
to help us resolve some questions.
Some arguments we're
Hopefully.
having in this room.
Yeah, this gets into a weird question. Okay, go.
강사 내 kunshi la nangwe dunga ni de wangshe la ngong nung dugir
Not gyur.
kir
Gyur.
kir.
And it's important with gyur, because gyur means is. Gyur means to change. It's a different verb. It's a totally different verb.
With
So
the
don't
owl.
say G for third column. Don't give me these third columns English. Okay? Ka, gyur.
kir dugir gu gir pashe be mekme ki kunshi la suk minangwa sokshe par jao.
Yeah, and we're dealing with the whole book is about difficult points in the mind only. He's not really covering the 3 attributes yet. He's just talking about what happens in the formless realm. Can you have kunshi? Like he's already jumping into problems with the potential problems. So read it from here. The dunga,
The 5 objects
which nawa
appear
to the kunshi
kunshi
of this person.
of that
Okay.
individual. Mhm.
And he's talking about the guy we just talked about.
Right.
Okay.
The formless grammar?
Yeah. Well.
Or
No.
anyone.
Not
Anyone.
really.
Anyone.
No, it's actually 2 lower rounds.
Yeah, former realm. where-
In the 2 lower rounds.
Yeah. Desire and form.
De Wang Shela. If the 5 objects,
Okay.
it is explained. It is taught. Okay, this is the impersonal. It is taught that these 5 objects, good,
They need
Need.
must, munker.
be
Exist.
directly.
They must be
Directly.
what we call evident reality,
Yeah.
manifest reality,
Self-evident.
Obvious.
to the Wangshe, to their corresponding.
Sense powers.
consciousness.
Sense awareness.
This is not power. Yeah, these are
Consciousness.
awareness.
Consciousness.
They must appear to their corresponding sense awareness. Okay. colors and shapes must appear to the corresponding eye consciousness. Okay, visual consciousness. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
We mentioned
It's
this earlier,
the
right?
appearance of the fire.
Therefore, you should understand, Shepa Chao, you should understand that if you had a case, when we're talking about a kunshi, where the person didn't have eyes, like a blind person.
Oh,
Okay, so what's happening in the kunshi of a blind person? Okay, suk minam.
it doesn't appear.
Yeah,
Visible
they don't
object
get-
doesn't appear.
They don't get an appearance of colors and shapes even in their mind, because if they did, then they would have Miki number Shepa.
They'd have the
Right.
eye sense consciousness.
They would have to have the corresponding eye
Right.
consciousness, but they can't.
Right.
Okay.
So that's a cool question. You know,
Yeah.
what's the kunshi situation with a blind person?
It's a little short.
Do they still have Miki Upper Shipa though? Because
Cannot.
well, what if they imagine blue?
They, according to this, they cannot.
Miki Upper
You've never
Shipa.
seen
Well, that's Yuki number Shipa.
Yeah.
In the Abhidharma
called
system,
good.
that's called Chukikangi Suk, imagined
But what if
form.
it's a memory of?
Yeah, what if they
That's
were...
still yin.
Yeah. It's still
In, ultimately, in Buddhism, it has to be a memory,
Yeah.
but let's not go there.
Okay.
So he just and he made up a question really, and he answered it himself, and he's elaborating on Tsongkhapa. It's almost like Tsongkhapa didn't mention this, but here's a problem, and here's another problem.
So he's saying, yeah, you'd have a little less of a kunchi.
Yeah, you'd have a 90% kunshi, you know.
A little
Okay.
less of... Where's a little less...
Just kidding. Okay, go.
More
Make this low.
Shib,
Yeah, good ship.
shibcha, shenyang, nyaldu ning, samjar, matakpadang,
Good.
chi sila nepe, gangsaki kunshi la yulgang, nang chegyu shing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
He's mentioning two other cases where the situation with the kunshi might be a little weird. Okay, and he's advising us that we'll have to chiga.
Examine it.
Yeah, it means he doesn't want to decide. He'll say this is something that has to be looked into.
Yeah.
Okay,
Figure
we
it
have to
out.
look into two questions about the kunshi. Number one, shipcha means details. Shiba means fine point. Shiba. Choship is the word for wheat, because it's wheat grain shibad. It's made fine. Okay, so he says if you want to get into some fine points here, okay, you want to get into some fine points, shipcha, shenyang, here's some other fine points. Okay, here's some other 5 points. Meaning, I thought of some that Tsongkhapa didn't mention. Matakpa after a verb means what?
We just learned this like an hour ago.
Well, that's pretty far. No, I don't think we've done it lately.
No, it's the opposite if it's about to happen, right? It's
Yeah, it is. It does mean right after.
right after.
Yeah, right after X.
Yeah.
You know, young Matakpa means right after he arrived, we had some problems or something like that. Okay. So that's an idiom for you, Matakpa. Here's another idiom. Say Ning Chamjar. Make the crossing into a new life.
Oh.
It took me years to come up with that translation. So Sam means border, right? Jar
Yeah.
means join the border. And Ying sort of means life, right? Meaning heart. Different, maybe a root meaning heart. So Ying Sab Jarwa is an idiom in Tibetan for making the crossing into a new life. Okay. In the Ngao.
And the lower.
Come on.
Oh,
No,
that's
One of the 4 kinds of birth.
Oh, egg. No.
Close.
No, that would be cool.
Womb.
Womb.
Yeah.
Okay.
Egg is gong, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
now you translate it.
You should examine some other fine points
Good.
concerning.
For example, he gives 2. Here's the first one.
crossing into another. What happens after you cross the line to another womb, another life?
Matak.
That
Right after.
right after you
Yeah,
cross.
like what's the situation with the kunshi?
Like
The,
right after you
the second after
pop into a
you cross into the womb, you know, and apparently there's something weird about it.
Yeah, well,
That's why I
why would
mentioned
that bother him?
it's small. The senses aren't formed yet, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, let's think. Maybe you can give us a report later.
Yeah,
But why is this something we would have to look into?
Chegu.
Maybe it means
Yeah, too good.
if the things you experience physically are coming from your consciousness, it would take a moment. You would have consciousness in the first moment after the womb, but you wouldn't have any sense perceptions yet,
Right.
Right.
because it takes time for them to come out of the conscious mind.
Yeah.
Well, that's,
See, so what he's really talking about is the first instant
Of consciousness.
in the womb.
Yeah.
You couldn't have an awareness of heat or wetness or
Right.
cause that's the wheel of life, right?
because that there'd have to be time
Right.
for the kunshi to produce it. The bakchaks in the kunshi would have to open.
Right. How
So-
do you have a
so-
connection with them, really?
What's the stat? Is the baby in the first moment of its existence in the womb a formless realm being? You see what I mean? I mean,
Or is the
I think
kunshi-
he's going there.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I
That's
think he's
so
going
weird.
there. Yeah.
So there are no seeds from previous lives?
Well, that's.
Is the kunshi transgress? Is
I just
Yeah,
work
I
here.
Do we have a mind-only interpretation of the wheel of life? Because that's basically what that is.
Yeah.
You'd have to check those 20 texts in the tenure. You know, it's a small
Oh,
section.
yeah,
It's
right.
a tiny section.
I'll just
could,
read
You
them.
could make that you could make that the search object.
I think we put it together like that.
And
already.
I could do it right now, but I just don't want to take the time. Then you'd look up Tendel Chini.
I think we already made the basket for it.
Well, it's already made already, yeah.
Mm.
Phil did that. So,
Okay.
you know.
It's weird that he's so worried about external objects at the same time that he's establishing that there aren't any.
Yeah. Okay, now here's our second weird case.
Okay.
So the first weird case, in my opinion, lasted only 1/65th of a second. And probably we can let it go. But here's the second one. Chisi. Now, in the Abhidharma, SRID can mean, and it's going to come in Sagang's text, the being at blank.
Being at
So,
that.
yeah, the being at death. And it's a big subject in the Wheel of Life between 10 and 11.
Mm-hmm.
What's the Parsi?
What is the in between being? What's the,
The being
in
during the
between?
bardo.
Bardo.
The
Yeah.
being, the person during the bardo is called a Parsi.
Oh yeah.
The being at the moment of death is called a Chisi. And then I guess there's a Kesi. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So here's another use of Sipa.
right?
Sipa can mean possible or impossible. Sipa can mean
Life.
Like,
sansara.
uh-huh.
But here it's a noun, Abhidharma noun, that just means the being at that point in their life.
One's life.
Okay, yeah, so that's called a chisi. Okay, so let's consider a person who is at the point of the chisi, at the death, meaning the last moment in this life. So we treated the first moment, and now he says, let's fast forward to the last moment in your life, just before you enter the bardo.
And let's talk about his kunshi.
Yeah.
Cool.
What kind of object can appear to this guy?
Smells.
Okay. And I think you could distribute this what kind of object to the first case too. You know.
Right before being
So
born. Right?
how is an
Yeah, take a
object
look
gonna
at it.
appear? How is it? And this yule I would take it to be
Right.
dun.
Right.
a
The
synonym.
object.
Yeah. How are those 5 objects of the senses
Right.
gonna appear to the
Right, so
kunshi?
we gotta think about what's gonna appear to the kunshi at that moment.
I guess, I mean, maybe it's talking about, does the kunshi in the last moment of your life do anything? Because it takes time for it to do
Yeah.
something. It takes time. What about the bakchaks at the last moment of your life? You know, well, what do?
Right.
They can't produce duns in this life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You
Right.
see, so you know, if the perception of the physical world is a two-step process,
Yeah.
Bakchak's opening and then the appearing,
Right.
Yeah.
well, how do we treat the first
That's
moment of
cool.
life and the last moment?
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
even
These
the
are.
That's
transition
awesome.
is a ripening.
Yeah, that's true too.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
but
so
don't
ripening.
forget, in the kunshi, we're only allowed to have 11 things.
One of which
that's
is
right.
one of which
You see?
It's not.
is not really there.
Yeah, one of which is not really, is just there but not
Nominally.
working. Okay, yeah, nominally there.
Normally, yeah.
Yeah, good. We just say it's there.
Right.
Okay.
So these
So
are two perfectly reflexive issues that he's bringing up.
yeah, he said, and he doesn't answer them. He says,
Right.
you know, if you want to go deeper, shicha
Right.
means if you want to go deeper,
Right.
well, you would have to look into these two questions.
Right.
Maybe because our Rangluk, his ultimate Rangluk, is what?
Reminds me of Prasangika.
Yeah, he's like.
It sounds like a Prasangika.
I mean, he might be saying, you know, these are irresolvable.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's a
Totally.
dumb school. You know what I mean? He might be saying, no, he might be saying that, you
It seems like
know.
he's implying that there's
It's like he's almost sitting there and saying, I guess they didn't think of how this doesn't
Yeah.
match these two cases, you know.
So how do you have the result of objects in the first moment of having objects, and how do you have the
The cause.
cause
Yeah,
in the last moment?
Yeah,
Right,
good.
right, right.
Very well stated, Mr. Kramer. Candele.
commentary on the difficult.
The difficult commentary says,
Please read.
Kanjanle sukme kikunshi miktrelgi shepa tabur
Tabur.
sungmu kyang sheparangtsen par ndu chin yul shikme dumi rungwar nang yuso.
Okay, cool. This is kind of addressing your book. The last, you know, headache we had there. Kandel, I take it to be Jetson Kappa's Kandel.
Yeah.
Here's the full name of his book. Yidang Kun Shi Kawe Nege Chirdel. So there's Kandel. Okay, that's the full title of Tsongkhapa's auto commentary. So I take it. I'm sure there are other Kandels for Kunshi and the mind only school, but this is, I believe, he's referring to Jetson Kappa.
Yeah.
So the Kandel itself, so you'd have to say something like itself, you see. The Kandel itself says,
Yeah.
Well, we would quickly, easily find his quotation there, right?
I looked for it, it's a paraphrase,
Okay.
which is always a, I almost said bitch, but...
You don't point it
of course I wouldn't. I get in real trouble from B when I and I think Jing May reports it. I'm just kidding.
This is on YouTube,
I'm
Joshua.
taking notes.
Oh, really? Oops. Let's drink too. Okay. Mer, you must know by now.
Yes, surely we do.
Do we?
It's followed by but. I'll give you a clue.
We all know.
Admittedly.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Nick.
Very good.
Wow, 2 people challenged word today. Okay, you know, admittedly, Tsongkhapa said, or Tabor,
Or
we can say,
or we can.
he seemed to say.
Ooh.
Which means, okay, so Tabor Sung means, it's, you know, he seemed to say, meaning he doesn't really agree and he doesn't see why he would have said. Okay, he seemed to say,
Yeah, sure. Looks like he said.
seemed to be describing a state of mind, okay, which
Didn't have mix.
a formless kunshi,
And
a formless kunshi. He seemed to be describing a formless kunshi, which was a state of mind, mikta.
Without
which
me.
didn't have mix.
Without an object.
Yeah,
Which
good.
didn't see things.
Good. This mikpa means mikpa. That's a noun.
Yeah.
What's the verb?
Meek.
Meek.
Mikpa.
Mikpa. Mikpa.
Okay, mikpa. Mik.
Meek.
Okay.
Roadrunner. He's like right outside.
I still have 2 roadrunners hanging around my house.
Oh,
The mom and the son, or the baby. I don't know if it's a boy. But
They'll fight off the gophers.
I should hire them to fight with the gophers. Yeah.
They only do coyotes.
Coyote would definitely take down the dog.
Now, this should be offensive to you. This idea.
Yeah.
What is it? What's the problem here?
That he's talking about an object, a subject without an object.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Jensen Kappa seems to be talking about a formless realm possibility where the person has the awareness, of a sense perception without an object. Like the awareness of blue without blue.
Right. That's basically.
Like, is it possible? I mean, it's tempting to think
Mm-hmm.
that in the formless realm, people have kunshis,
Right.
but the kunshis don't produce objects,
Mhm.
but they could produce awarenesses.
Mm.
Yeah, like a blind man imagining red.
Okay.
That was the case you brought up. So it seems like,
Yeah.
it seems like it's an option that in the kunshi of a person in the formless realm,
Yeah.
they could have, some kind of fleeting memory or what do you call it?
They have thoughts, don't they?
They could have an
It's still
impression
weak.
of physicality
Yeah.
without any physical thing there. Like the way people, after they get their arm cut off, they feel some sensation.
Phantom.
Yeah,
Pain.
it seems like without an arm, people could still have this perception.
And it could be that those seeds aren't ripening right now. Like,
Yeah, or just the seeds for the object didn't ripen, and the seeds for the awareness ripened. Okay.
But they
Got
don't
it?
have arm before. If
Yeah.
person
Well,
was
everyone's
blind.
always had everything. Everything's always had everything. Life is no beginning.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
what's
That high five was
distinction?
stolen from you.
What's the distinction between a mik and a dun and a yul? What's the distinction between a mik, an object
Same.
of the mind,
Same.
and a dun and a yul?
Same. Same. Yeah.
Then, they got an object.
It might be a
I mean,
pun.
that's without
It
an
might
object.
be a
Any
pun.
object.
It might be like a super pun.
For I
Super
object.
You tell me why.
Make
Why
dirty.
did he choose mikba instead of yul or dun?
Because it's...
What's a synonym for mikda?
I.
Mikme, tsewe.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Whose
it's
mantra?
There's a papa.
I mean, it could be this elaborate pun. I'm not.
I'd be shocked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's. Sometimes I feel that you can spot things that are subconscious puns. Like
Yeah,
they're not
subconscious.
aware
That seems.
they're making a pun. Okay, anyway, tabor summa kyang. Okay, I admit that Tsongkhapa seems to describe a thing like that, but now this chin here is tough.
It's not
Yeah,
parchin. Like.
It means chinche.
What
Chin
brings
check.
you to?
The purpose.
Chinche means once you've done this, you've got no choice but to do that. Chinche means once you've done that. Okay?
Wow.
Once you've done the chinche,
Necessary consequence.
it's a good idiom.
That's hard.
CHAD. Chinche. It means cut, right? Che dorje chupa.
NCHA.
Once you've got to that point, okay? Once you have posited
Yeah.
de, once you have posited a shepa,
Consciousness.
which is rang tsemba here, doesn't mean chitsen
Exists
and
by
rang tsen.
definition.
It
It
means
doesn't mean chitsen and rang. Well, you could say it means chitsen. What's chitsen and rang tsen? You're the expert.
Yeah.
You're the
Also
chitsen
has
and rang
no
tsen
translation.
expert.
Go ahead, Casa.
Architect.
Yeah, the archetype and
Manifestation.
an actual case. An actual case. So here,
Yeah.
once you posit an actual case of consciousness,
Yes.
then you'll shik medaminunga. There's the idiom we had this morning.
Yeah.
You'll shik means
You
A.
cannot
Oh,
do without
A.
it.
Yeah.
Tesquanan.
Yeah, it's just come
Right,
on.
then an object is
Once you
Sikwanan.
have an actual case of a consciousness, don't tell me
Yeah.
you're not gonna have an object. Come on,
Yeah.
That's
Mirua.
Yeah. Don't worry, there's an object. We
Shit,
won't talk about how
no,
the hell
no,
that
it
appears,
would.
but
Nang means here. Nang means it would appear to me.
Oh,
It's humility, kenbakyun.
Yeah.
You know, goso.
yeah,
It would appear to me.
yeah.
Okay.
With good.
Or you could
gotta
say,
it looks like.
Yeah, it would appear to me.
Yeah.
He's being polite.
Right.
He's
Not
not. He's
good.
trying not to
Uh-huh.
contradict Tsongkhapa.
Again, maybe
Yeah.
this is a silly question, but
This
did
is
he
like, I
say
think
earlier?
you'd have to say.
Did we somehow see earlier in the text that it, like,
Wow.
that it couldn't be a kunchi if it had objects of just of thought consciousness? Like it had to have all 6 senses or something like that? Or
So far, if I'm not mistaken, we haven't accounted. The kunchi itself is the perception, or no. In this school, you still have the 6 normal consciousnesses.
yeah.
So there's 6 normal consciousnesses, kunchi, and yunyi, right?
Yeah.
So I guess when you say the kunchi is responsible for the physicality that you perceive, he's not saying it's wrapped up with the sense perceptions, the consciousnesses of the perceptions. And I believe he would say, because those are already covered in the Soktuk,
Right.
in the collection of 6 consciousnesses. So what you have to deal with kunchi, apparently so far, and again I'm not so familiar with kunchi, that I haven't spent 10 years studying it with anybody, but it seems that you only have the 5 sense objects and the 5 sense powers. And you don't get into the corresponding consciousnesses. Maybe they're included in the Tsoktu, which is still accepted by the school. So 6 plus 1 plus 1, 8 consciousness school. Okay, cool.
But some say 9, others say 1.
So anyway, there you go. Now I went to try to find where Tsongkhapa might have said something like that. I didn't have much time due to other turkeys.
Me being the other turkey.
the main turkey.
Right,
No.
you're the turkey.
I'm
not
the
other
turkey.
turkey.
I'm the main.
Right, you're the neglected turkey.
I'm not even sure anymore that this is relevant.
Day 15.
Let's skip that. Let me find you a better one. I believe this is a different. It may be the place, but I don't think so.
Day 15. The men have taken to boiling seal bones for.
Right? Yeah. They look at each other.
Yeah, I don't think that's the place. I was trying to look up Sungnam or Suncha,
Yeah, like the object.
the object aspect,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that would help us. But let me go some. Let's wait. Now he's talking about those of you who've done the lion's dance. He's talking about number 5, the first formless realm meditation, which is called Namkatai. Sorry, yeah, which we visualize as a lake. Okay. Okay, so Kelte. Well, okay, I'm going to go to the end, okay? Kante de, if you accept.
Even if you accept?
Well, this nang means it's also something we'd have to look into. Okay, if you accept blah, 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 that's also something we'd have to check out. It means he's not sure and he's just saying this is an issue. That would also be an issue. And now he's going to take the example of Namkatayik and Yomchuk. The balanced meditation, such as infinite space. And I believe he's referring to the other 3 formless realm levels. Namshetaye, Chiangme, Dushime Min. Okay, so I believe he's talking about those other 3. Okay, so what's happening at those levels? Namka Soki Nawade, there is a space appearing to them. There is some kind of mental image of the lake. You see, you gotta imagine endless space. And for me, there's stars, and there's Einstein over there, and there's Mercury in the sun, and there's some the science fiction spaceships I was reading about. You know, there's a little Star Wars stuff going on.
Yeah.
So you do have some kind of mental picture when you are meditating on this first formless realm.
How big the archetype of that? Like, for example, ripple like a space or...
Yeah. Well, he's worried about it because
Seems physical.
why? By the
It
way,
seems like could be a physical thing.
yeah, you would be imagining you would have a conception of physicality.
Yeah, because it's space.
Okay, namkasoke nowadays. If you accept the idea that those images are appearing to a kunshi of the person at one of those levels, meaning the form.
Yeah.
Okay, sadedande means one of those levels. Okay.
You better look into that.
Cheparchate. Now, it appears to me that he's not talking about the resulting formless realm, because he mentioned Nyomjung,
Right, the
which
meditation.
means meditations which would plant the seeds for you to be born in the formless realm. But I believe what he's saying is, how much physicality are you imagining even during those meditations?
Yeah.
Because if you are, how could you be born into a formless realm where they don't have these images in their mind? So he says we have to examine also what's going on in meditations of a desire realm person
Right.
who's meditating on the formless realm meditations. They're called formless realm meditations because if you keep doing them and you die, you will be born in the formless realm. So in some texts, they say the mind is in the formless realm at that time. The body is in the desire realm, and the mind is in the formless realm, because it's meditating on a lack of physicality that's so strong it's going to cause you to be born in a permanent lack of physicality until you die again. Okay, so it would seem that during those meditations, it'd be so. What kind of kunshi you have there? Got it? You all right? What kind of kunshi could you have there? Because you don't have these physical pictures in your mind.
Yeah. Especially in the last two, there is no...
Yeah, especially in the last two where you turned your mind off.
Yeah,
Did you have
some
a question?
meditators don't have visuals.
What's that?
Images. Some meditators don't have visuals. I'm one of those. I see black, and it's more of
Oh
a
yeah,
feeling.
yeah.
So it's the feeling of calmness and formlessness.
Yeah,
that
cool.
Plant the seed, not the
Yeah.
visual.
Cool. Nawachate. This is something we have to look. Okay. Keep going.
뉴족 삭제 대닥 독제
Tokje.
독제 인배 남와 대닥향 드로탁 인규나
Yeah.
대kun시 라스 치치르 낭냠테 두마 자드로
Che.
체드로 타쿤시 라미냥 와 체팔열 외체로.
Good. Okay.
Lama.
Tokje.
We're a few minutes over time. Just
Sarshivani. What's happening next?
We have a brief break
we have about
before.
10 minutes.
Let's try to finish this because it's a nice place to stop.
Cool.
At the end of his questions, you know, to me it'd be kind of closure. Stop here.
Stop.
Now, if you have a state of balanced meditation, which is sakche,
Has
which is
Stained.
impure in some way, okay, then that's tokche. This is probably a reference to topa and chupa.
Conceptual.
Oh.
Rough state of mind and finer state of mind.
Okay, this is rough.
Topa and chupa, tsingjubni in the Abhidharma. Vikalpa and Vichara, right?
Okay,
So this is Vikalpa.
Oh, that's in
Tarka?
Tibetan Tokche. Tokpa and Chepa.
Well, no, the che is DPYAD.
Oh.
This is a different che.
Okay.
This che means you still possess topa.
Uh-huh.
I think you lose topa at the second form realm.
Right.
Okay.
That's what you teach.
Definitely by the third.
Third. Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure what he's meaning here, but so I'm not going to take it as the Tok in Vitarka and in Vikalpa and Vichara. I'm not going to take it that way.
Vitarka.
Vitarka,
Yeah,
Vitarka.
I'm not going to take it that way.
Okay.
I'm going to take it as conceptualization.
Rough conception.
So
Okay.
that
Yeah.
so when your meditation is not going so well, okay, you still have conceptualization.
Okay.
You're still possessing things. Therefore, nama dedakyang. And so whatever appears to you in your mind in that meditation, imperfect meditation, okay, it would have to be drotak. Drondok, past tense.
It would have to be
Just imputed.
Uh-huh.
Okay, it would have to just be imputed. Okay. Guna. And if that were the case, we could ask ourselves, Nyam, well, why would that appear to the Kunchi? Okay. Chichir, Nam. Why would that appear to the Kunchi? And here he says something cute. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
And I just understood it. Whew, that was close.
Just under the buzzer.
Dumache, which is a synonym for Takpa.
Again.
Gyudan
again.
No, say dude. Sorry, Gyudan. Ken. Dune. Mache Bichu. Okay, a thing which has not been produced by causes and conditions, but which still exists. Okay, so
Like mine.
Dumache, Drotak, something imputed as an unchanging thing. Okay, something imputed as an unchanging thing. Okay. Cannot appear to the Kunchi. Cannot appear to the Kunchi. If you think about it, all the objects we've ever talked about appearing to the Kunchi are
causes.
mitarpa.
Yeah.
They are duches.
Because they're coming from the
Yeah,
bhakti.
physical form. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, that's a good point. They are products. So, a chipangyur means, this chipangyur is an idiom in a text. It means this is going to be treated later on. This is going to be talked about later on. Chipangyur means we're going to explain it later. Okay, so he's bringing up a potential issue. Well, actually, no. It's a different thing. He's not saying this is going to be discussed later. He's not saying that. What he's saying is later on in the text, Tsongkhapa is going to talk about how an unchanging thing cannot appear to the Kunchi. Because all the things that appear to the Kunchi are changing things.
Wow.
Then he says, and if that's the case, and if to this kind of meditation, those kinds of conceptions were appearing, then we have a problem. Okay. How could they be appearing? Okay. How could they be appearing? Because Tsongkhapa said they can't. Okay, got it? So again, if the meditation is imperfect, then it has certain conceptions in the mind, still going on. And if there's still those conceptions in the mind, they would have to be imaginary, not real. And if they're imaginary, they are constructs, they are archetypes, they are unchanging. But Tsongkhapa said you can't have something unchanging appearing to the mind. So maybe it means when you're doing the fifth level, you're supposed to imagine, right, what an infinite universe, okay? That imagination, the object of that imagination is unchanging. It's an archetype. It's a mental picture that will never change. Okay? Then how can that happen to the Kunchi? How can you have this kind of image with the Kunchi? Okay? You alright?
Yeah.
So even in the form, then you might want to link it to the thing that came before. Because this is formless. He mentioned specifically formless realm meditations. And then he went on to this question. So for him, these two are related. Site here. So when he's talking here about an imperfect meditation, I think he's talking about imperfect formless realm meditations. Okay, so maybe they have some kind of mental images going on. Tokche. They have mental conceptions going on, but what's the status of those conceptions? They are made up. If they're made up, they have to be unchanging. If they're unchanging, they can't appear to the kunshi. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So
He doesn't solve
it's
problems
another
for us, it's
little
just
problem he wants to bring up.
But it's
And you have to sit with it, and you're going to become our kunshi expert in it. If we're not clear on it, we'll ask you.
It's the case that even these archetypes and changing concepts, they are producing the mind in the sense that you have had to plant a certain seed in order to that concept to be there. So in some way you could say that they are also produced, right?
I call it the fountain. I call it the fountain solution.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Which is if you go to the Triveni fountain in Rome, which is just a stupid little thing. I mean, it has this, it's super famous, and
Doesn't it make like
people
thousands of dollars in
well,
coins?
people throw money in there, and then poor people swim in there at night. But so it's always got the same shape, but the water's coming, like that, pushing out constantly. But the outline of it is constant. I would say the answer is somewhere there.
But is it the case that they beginning, right? They have a beginning in the sense that
in that case,
at a certain moment of your existence you didn't have the concept of, I don't know, like a mountain?
Well, if I'm a second school guy, I will say, what do you mean what do you mean beginning? You've had these archetypes forever.
Since forever, like, and so I already, in that school, I already have all the archetypes that could ever exist.
And you've had them for all time, since the beginningless time.
Maybe I'm not aware of them.
Right, they're not active, they're not evident, but you've had those archetypes forever. You have every archetype there could be. You have killed countless people. You've been Hitler, you've been Miss Universe, you've been president of the U.S. You have all those archetypes, which is probably why you could even see them in your world.
But even like technology that is not even available nowadays in the world. Like,
we're just rediscovering it. We are rediscovering a cell phone. There have been countless iPhone 10, 11, 12, 10 zillion and 35.
yeah.
There have probably even been worlds where Apple's products continue to be high quality.
there's always a probably wrap up.
And without extra connectors.
Sashi Puki Jokshin Metokam Rira Vingshin Gende Gempadi Sange Shingdu Mikte Uwargi Jokun Ramdak Shingla Juparsho Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Niryatayami Gewa Gi Gewo Kun Sunam Yeshe Tsotso Shing Sunam Yeshe Lejungwe Tamba Kunyi Toparsho